Hey guys, it's Sam, and these are the books that I plan to read before the end of the year, also known as my end of the year TBR. As you guys know, I usually don't have a monthly TBR. TBRs kind of stress me out. I like to just kind of pick randomly whatever I'm really feeling at that moment, and it can change from week to week, day to day even. So I don't like planning those out, but these are books that I can really see myself reading before the end of the year. A lot of them are books from series that I've already started and want to finish before the end of the year, so they are off my plate, and some of them are also books that are the first in the series that I want to start because the beginning of next year a lot of sequels are coming out, so I want to kind of have those ready for those sequels that are coming out. So I just wanted to let you guys know some of the books that I plan on reading before the end of the year. The first is a series that I plan on starting, and it is the Falling Kingdoms series by Morgan Rhodes, consisting of Falling Kingdoms and Rebel Spring currently, and the third book, Gathering Darkness, comes out on December 9th. I'm actually doing a read-along for this with a bunch of people that have expressed interest in it already, so I will link the video for that here. I'm going to be announcing that on Monday, so I will link that video when it is up here. If you are interested in participating in the read-along with us, go ahead and comment down below and let me know. There is a nice group going, it's a ton of fun people, so anybody else who wants to jump in, please feel free. But these are the first two books in the Falling Kingdoms fantasy series. It is a YA fantasy series. I have heard really amazing things about this series, and I'm so excited to finally pick this up and just catch up before the end of the year. The next book that I want to pick up is Sekret by Lindsay Smith. This is the first book in a trilogy, I believe, and it takes place in communist Russia and is about a girl who has mind-reading abilities. I'm not sure if mind-reading is a thing that everybody has or if she just has them or whatever, but basically the KGB wants to use her as like their weapon, as their spy, and this is the first book in that series, and the second one is coming out early next year. So I want to make sure that I read this before the next one comes out. In that same vein, I also want to read The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is the first book in a adult fantasy series. It is about a girl who is a clairvoyant and she works kind of in like the criminal underground, and I haven't heard a ton about this as far as plot and spoilers. I'm keeping myself as spoiler free as possible, but I've heard nothing but good things. It's amazing. I know the next book, The Mime Order, comes out next year and everyone is thrilled and can't stop talking about it, so I definitely want to pick this up as soon as possible so that I can read The Mime Order as soon as possible as well. I then plan on reading Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue, and Emerald Green by Kerstin Gier. This is a historical fiction fantasy series set around a girl whose family, every generation, there is a time traveler in their family, and so her cousin, or I think it's her cousin, is trained to be the time traveler because they think that she's going to be the time traveler, and of course our main character ends up being the one that time travels and all of that. So as you guys know, I love time traveling, you know, parallel universe jumping, all of that kind of thing, so I've been wanting to read this series forever, and actually Lucina and I, from my reading glasses, are going to be picking up this one, Ruby Red, this weekend. So actually, while you're watching this, I'm probably reading this. So yes, so I'm definitely reading this month, and then I hope to get to the rest of the books before the end of the year. I then went to read Avalon by Mindee Arnett. This is the first book in a science fiction trilogy. It is about a group of teenagers who steal spaceships, yeah, for like a sci-fi, almost like mafia boss kind of character, so that sounds amazing. As you guys know, I love my criminals, and the second book in this series, Polaris, comes out, I believe, in January or February. I then plan on reading Through the Evernight and Into the Still Blue by Veronica Rossi. These are the second and third books in the Under the Never Sky trilogy. It is a dystopian science fiction fantasy series. It's kind of a whole mix of all of it. And I read the first book earlier this year and really enjoyed it. I love this world and I love the characters in this, and I'm really excited to finish this before the end of the year. I then plan on reading Goddess Interrupted, The Goddess Inheritance, and The Goddess Legacy, all in the Goddess Test series by Aimee Carter. I've already read the first book, and this is the second, third, and then novella bind up in this series, and I really love these books. It is based on Greek mythology. Basically, our main character has to take a test in the first book in order to become the goddess of the underworld, which is basically Persephone. I've talked about these before, I'm sure you've heard about them, and I just love these. These are so fun, so fast-paced, and I really want to finish these before the end of the year, and that shouldn't be a problem because they are fairly short, fairly quick reads, and I'm really interested to get back into them. I then went to pick up The Winter's Curse by Rutkowski. This is the first book in another fantasy dystopia series. Again, another one where I don't know a ton about the plot, but I've heard really amazing things about it, and the second book, The Winter's Crime, is coming out early next year, so I definitely want to catch up on this series before that one comes out. I then went to finish Reached by Condie. This is the third book in the Matched trilogy. For those of you that have been around a little while, you know that I don't really like this series, but I've read the first two books, and I just want to finish the last one, so I'm currently listening to that on audiobook from my library, and really hope to finish it before the end of the year, just so I can cross it off my list, and I can just send it away. Far away. Now on to a couple honorable mentions. These are books that I may or may not pick up, and if I don't get to them, I won't be super disappointed or anything, but I would like to get to them sooner rather than later, so if I can slip them in with the rest of these books, that would be awesome. I would like to pick up The Thousand Names by Django Wexler. This is the first book in a Flintlock fantasy series. For those of you that don't know what Flintlock fantasy is, because I certainly didn't, you can get a whole kind of overview on the genre from Sana of Inkbone's books. I will link her channel down below in the video that I'm referring to. That kind of gives an overview of what Flintlock fantasy is, but a very, very brief summary. It is a subgenre of fantasy where there is a little more technology involved, they're a little more technologically advanced. It's kind of touching into the Industrial Revolution period, so there are guns and that kind of thing. It also centers around more kinds of warfare type things, so a lot of soldiers and stuff are involved. I love that kind of thing, so I have heard really good things about this, so I would love to pick this up probably in December, but again, if I don't, I won't be completely brokenhearted and I'll pick it up sometime earlier next year. And the last two books that I wouldn't mind picking up are For Darkness Shows of Stars and Across a Star-Swept Sea by Diana Peterfruend. These are books in a companion series. The first book is a science fiction retelling of Jane Austen's Persuasion, and the second book is a science fiction retelling of The Scarlet Pimpernel. I believe they're companion novels, so I don't think they follow the same characters, but maybe they do. I don't know, I'm trying to cut myself as spoiler-free as possible, so I would love to read these. I think they're going to be a quick read. I've been really in the mood for kind of science fiction. I want to start dabbling in science fiction, and since this is kind of baby science fiction, I thought this would be a good way to start and kind of kick that off in the new year. Alright guys, that is it for my end of the year TBR / books that I would like to read, but if I don't, it's no big deal. So comment down below and let me know what books you plan on reading before the end of the year, if there are some series that you are trying to wrap up and everything else. Also, comment down below and let me know if you want to participate in the read-along with me and the other girls. And the video announcing that will be posted on Monday, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!